Now let's go over riders. So riders, these are optional supplementary contracts or provisions that provide additional benefits at a minimal additional cost. For our premium paying riders, you can attach this to our VUL policy set for life and manifest. And you can also attach this to our traditional policy, vibrant. Now let's go over the different riders on what FWD has to offer. So the riders that we have to offer are Safety Pro, Sure Pro for insured, Sure Pro for owner, Life Pro, Health Pro, Health Pro Lite, and Recovery Pro. Let's start with our first rider, Safety Pro. Safety Pro is your accidental death benefit rider. So FWD will pay the benefit amount if the insured dies due to an accident. Now to attach this rider, the insured issue age should be anywhere between 15 days old up to 70 years old upon application. This is available in 3 different payment terms: 5 years to pay, 10 years to pay, and regular pay. Now, this rider comes in 2 options. So you get coverage up to the age of 60 or up to the age of 75. For the death benefit in this rider, we will pay 100% of the benefit amount of Safety Pro. Now, the minimum sum assured in this rider will be 100% of the basic sum assured. However, you do have an option of increasing it to a maximum of 500% of the basic sum assured. Now, a condition that we have for this rider to be paid is the insured should die within 180 days from an accident, and such accident should occur before the expiry date of the rider. Now, we do have an additional feature here in Safety Pro. So if the insured gets in an accident which happens to fall on a public holiday in the Philippines, so that may be either any of the regular holidays or special non-working holidays listed in our policy contract, we will pay 3 times the benefit amount for this rider. Okay? Now, if the insured person is abroad, okay, so our public holidays refer to a day declared under Philippine law and observed within the Philippines, as long as the accident falls on a Philippine holiday and it is within our time zone, it would still be paid as well. Now, since we are talking about accidental death, we do have a couple of exclusions here in Safety Pro. So the first one being suicide. We have murder, provoked assault, war or act of terrorism, air, military or naval service, violation of law, and accidents caused by alcohol or drug use. Aside from that, we have disease and sickness, poison gas fumes voluntarily taken, nuclear, biological, radioactive, and chemical contamination, aerial submarine device except as a fare-paying passenger in a commercial aircraft. So if you're flying in a commercial aircraft like Philippine Airlines, Air Asia, Cebu Pacific, you would be covered. But if you are flying privately, that is no longer covered. Now for risky sports and hobbies, this will be covered if we pay an additional premium to cover the risky sports and hobbies. And lastly, we have is cosmetic or plastic surgery. Now let's go over a sample scenario on how this works. So we got Lily, who's 27 years old. She purchased a 10-pay set for life with a sum assured of 500,000 for 30,000 pesos in annual premium. She attached Safety Pro. This is a mandatory rider and set for life. So she went with a sum assured of 500,000 for 1,650 in annual premium. She also has the Sure Pro rider, which is at 448 pesos. So her total premiums per year for 10 years to pay is at 32,098 pesos. Now, on the first policy year, Lily gets into an accident on a regular day that resulted to her death. So what's going to be paid? So first of all, we got set for life. So we have 500,000 pesos coming from the basic plan. And we have 500,000 coming from our Safety Pro rider. So the beneficiaries receive 1 million pesos. Now, another scenario. What if Lily gets into an accident which happens to be on a public holiday that resulted to her death? So what's payable this time? So once again, we got 500,000 coming from our basic plan set for life. However, this time for Safety Pro, we will pay 3 times the benefit amount. So this time it is 1,500,000 pesos. So the beneficiary this time gets 2 million pesos. Now let's go over our next rider, which is Sure Pro for insured. Sure Pro for insured, or also known as waiver of premium. So FWD will waive future basic, rider premiums, and regular top-up premiums if the insured becomes totally and permanently disabled or is diagnosed with any of the 42 covered critical illnesses. So, to attach this rider, the insured should be between the age of 18 years old to 60 years old upon application. This is available in 5-pay and 10-pay variants only. Now, when we say total and permanent disability, this is a condition that continues for 180 days or more and makes the insured unable to work in any occupation for compensation or profit. For the critical illness, we cover any of the 42 major critical illnesses listed in our Set for Health policy. Now, the condition for critical illness is we must meet the 14-day survival period, we must achieve the 90-day waiting period, and it should not be a pre-existing condition. Now, this rider terminates at the end of the premium paying period or if the insured reaches the age of 70. Now let's go over a sample scenario for same Lily's policy, okay? So earlier she attached Sure Pro, right? That's 448 pesos. So on policy year number 1, Lily gets either diagnosed with a covered critical illness or suffers from total and permanent disability. What's going to happen is we are going to waive all future premium payments. So Lily only paid for the first year, which was 32,008 pesos, and from year number 2 until year number 10, that will be paid by FWD. So she has 288,883 pesos in waived premiums. For our next rider, we have Sure Pro for owner. So Sure Pro for owner, also known as waiver premium. So FWD will waive future basic, rider premiums, and regular top-ups if the owner dies, becomes totally and permanently disabled, or is diagnosed with a covered critical illness. Now, the issue age would be anyone between the age of 18 years old to 60 years old upon application. This is only available for both 5-pay and 10-pay variants. Now, when we say total and permanent disability, this is a condition that continues for 180 days or more and makes the insured unable to work in any occupation for compensation or profit. When we say critical illness, this is any of the 42 major critical illnesses covered in Set for Health. Now, for critical illness, we have 3 conditions. We must achieve the 14-day survival period, the 90-day waiting period, and it should not be a pre-existing condition. Now, this rider will terminate at the end of the premium paying period or if the owner reaches the age of 70. Now let's go over a sample scenario. So we got Luke, who's 5 years old, has a Set for Life policy with a sum assured of 1 million for 27,000 pesos in annual premium. He also has Safety Pro, which is 1 million for 3,400 pesos in annual premium. Now, since Luke is a minor, the owner is a different person, which is Kyle, his father, who's 27 years old. So, Kyle has 10-pay Sure Pro for owner for Set for Life at only 532 pesos. So the total premiums per year is 30,932 pesos. Now on So Kyle only paid on policy year number 1, which was 30,932 pesos, and FWD will pay the policy from year number 2 until year number 10. So we have 278,390 pesos in waived premiums. Our next rider is Life Pro. Life Pro is similar to that of Set for Tomorrow. So, in case a client would like to attach additional life insurance protection to their basic plan, they can do so with the help of Life Pro. So, under Life Pro, FWD pays the coverage amount in the event of insured's death or diagnosis of terminal illness. Now, to get this rider, the insured's issue age should be between the age of 15 days old up to 70 years old upon application. The minimum sum assured is at 50,000. The maximum sum assured is 500% of the basic plan. Now, this rider comes in two options. You either get coverage up to the age of 60 or up to the age of 75. Now, under terminal illness, this is going to be an advance. Okay, so if you claim from the terminal illness benefit, you pay 100% of the sum assured, and then this rider will terminate. We do also have a funeral benefit, so we can advance 10% or 100,000 within 48 hours after receiving the death certificate for the purpose of funeral expenses. Now, if the insured person died abroad, we do have an overseas benefit as well, which is equivalent to 20% of the sum assured or 500,000 pesos, whichever is lower. We do also have a spouse extension benefit. So, you get an additional 100% of the benefit amount if the insured and the spouse died from the same accident, that's within 180 days from the accident, and they have a surviving child less than 18 years of age. And lastly, we do have cash value as well for surrender benefit. Now, in Life Pro, we do have three exclusions. So suicide within the first 2 years while sane is excluded. You get violation of law, and we have a war. Now let's go over a sample scenario. So we got Marshall, who's 30 years old, purchased a 7-pay set for life with a coverage of 500,000 for 40,000 pesos in annual premium. He attached 5-pay Life Pro where he gets coverage up to the age of 60 for 250,000 for 11,975 in annual premium. So its total premiums from year number 1 to 5 is 51,975. His total premiums for year 6 and 7 goes back to 40,000 pesos. Now on year 1, sadly Marshall and his spouse died from an accident abroad. They left behind their 5-year-old son Drew. So what's payable? First, you can advance 10% for the purpose of funeral expenses, which is your funeral benefit. So that is 25,000. Now under Life Pro, we have a death benefit, which is 250,000. Since his spouse also died from the same accident, and since they have a living child less than 18 years old, we have 250,000 paid under the spouse extension benefit. Since Marshall died abroad, we also have 50,000 in overseas benefit. So from the rider alone, we can pay up to 575,000 in this scenario. And we have the set for life sum assured of 500,000 pesos. So our overall death benefit less the funeral benefit is at 1,050,000 pesos. Our next rider is Health Pro. Health Pro is similar to that of Set for Health. So FWD will pay the benefit amount if the insured dies or is diagnosed with a critical illness. So under Health Pro, you have 3 payment options. So that's either 5-pay, 10-pay, or regular pay. For the coverage, you have 2 options, either coverage up to the age of 75 or coverage up to the age of 60. For coverage up to the age of 75, the issue age should be between 15 days old to 70 years old upon application. For coverage up to age 60, the issue age should be between 15 days old to 55 years old upon application. Now for the minimum sum assured here in Health Pro, that's either going to be 100,000 or 50% of the basic sum assured, whichever is higher. For the maximum, that's 500% of the basic sum assured. We do have a limit of 10 million pesos. Now, you also have your death benefit, which is similar to that of Set for Health. So aside from critical illness coverage, we do cover death. So we get paid 100% of the benefit amount in case of death. For critical illness, we cover both major and minor critical illness. Under major, you can claim up to 3 times for 3 unrelated major critical illness, and for each claim, we will give you 100% of the sum assured. So for the major critical illness, we cover up to 42 major critical illnesses. For the minor critical illness, this is a one-time claim of 20% or 500,000, whichever is lower, and we cover 15 minor critical illnesses. Now we do have the same conditions of that of Set for Health. So you have a 14-day survival period, 90-day waiting period, and it should not be a pre-existing condition. You also have your surrender benefit. So that's cash value, if any, at the time of surrender. Now if you compare this to that of Set for Health, we do have two differences. First, we do not have a healthy life benefit. So there's no money back guarantee if you outlive your rider. And there's no built-in waiver or premium. However, you can attach VOR Pro for insured. For the exclusions in Health Pro, we have pre-existing condition, violation of law, accidents caused by alcohol or drug use, suicide, congenital condition, which means basically it's a birth defect or inborn condition. We also have nuclear, biological, radioactive, and chemical contamination, air, military, or naval service, war, air travel except as a fare-paying passenger in a commercial aircraft, risky sports or hobbies unless risk premium is paid, and HIV-related illnesses except for HIV and AIDS due to blood transfusion. Now let's go over a sample scenario. We got Ted, who's 30 years old. He purchased a 7-pay Set for Life with a coverage of 500,000 for 40,000 pesos in annual premium. He decided to attach a 5-pay Health Pro where he gets coverage up to the age of 60 for 500,000 sum assured for 20,565 in annual premiums. So his total premiums for year 1 to 5 is at 60,565 pesos. His total premiums for year 6 and 7 is at 40,000 pesos. Now on year 1, Ted is diagnosed with his first major critical illness, that's loss of hearing. But he has to continue for paying his premium since Health Pro doesn't have a built-in waiver of premium benefit. That's the reason why it's very important for us to attach a VOR Pro for insured when having Health Pro part of our policy. Now, since his loss of hearing is a covered major critical illness, he can process his first major claim, that is 500,000 pesos. On policy year 2, Ted gets diagnosed with his first minor critical illness. This is a one-time claim. So he gets diagnosed with accidental fracture of a spinal column. That's a covered critical illness. So he can process 100,000 pesos under his minor critical illness claim. On year 3, he gets diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease. This is a covered major critical illness. So he can claim a second major claim, which is 500,000 pesos. And on year number 5, Ted gets diagnosed with his third major critical illness, cancer, so he can claim his third major critical illness claim, which is 500,000. Now, since our basic plan is a VUL plan Set for Life, he has an account value. Now, assuming an 8% growth rate on policy year number 20, his account value would be 997,813 pesos, which he can use for other expenses as well. And he can also withdraw 15,000 pesos per month for 3 years and still have sufficient funds left to keep the policy in force. And sadly, on policy year 25, Ted passed away. So this time his beneficiaries will receive 500,000 coming from Health Pro, and we have 500,000 pesos coming from Set for Life. So overall, our benefits paid thanks to the rider and our basic plan is 2,600,000. Lite. Health Pro Lite is a critical illness rider that can be offered for those clients who are working on a budget. Okay? So FWD will pay the benefit amount if the insured is diagnosed with a critical illness. So for the payment term, you get 5 pay, 10 pay, and regular pay. For the coverage period, you have two options, either up to the age of 75 or a coverage up to the age of 60. For the coverage up to the age of 75, our issue age should be between 15 days old to 70 years old upon application. For coverage up to age 60, the insured issue age should be between 15 days old to 55 years old upon application. Now, the minimum sum assured here is 200,000 or 50% of the basic sum assured, whichever is higher. For the maximum, that is 500% of the basic sum assured. We do have a limit of 10 million pesos. Now, for the major critical illness benefit, this time it is only a one-time claim. So you get 100% of the benefit amount less the minor critical illness benefit paid. You get covered for 42 major critical illnesses. Now, for the minor, it's a one-time claim of 20% of the benefit amount or up to 500,000, whichever is lower. You get coverage for 15 minor critical illness. So the conditions are pretty much the same. You have the 14-day survival period, 90-day waiting period, and it should not be a pre-existing condition. For the surrender benefit, you have cash value, if any, at the time of surrender. Now, if you compare this to that of Set for Health or Health Pro, there is no healthy life benefit. There's no built-in VOR premium, but you do have the option of attaching VOR Pro. However, this time, there is no death benefit. Now let's go over a sample scenario. So we got Marshall, who's 30 years old. He purchased 7 pay Set for Life with a coverage of 500,000 for 40,000 pesos in premium. He attached 5 pay Health Pro Lite to age 60 for 500,000 pesos in coverage, but this time the premium is only 12,735 pesos per year. His total premiums for year 1 to 5 is 50,735 pesos. His total premiums for year 6 and 7 is at 40,000. Now, on policy year number 3, Marshall gets diagnosed with renal failure, which is a covered critical illness in Health Pro Lite. So he can claim 500,000 pesos from his Health Pro Lite rider. Okay? Now, since we claim 100% of the benefit amount, this rider will terminate, and he still needs to pay his premium since VOR Pro was not attached. On policy year 6, Marshall passed away. Suppose his premiums were paid, his beneficiaries will receive his Set for Life benefit, which is equal to 500,000 or his account value, whichever is higher. So his total benefits paid in this scenario is 1 million pesos. Let's go over a second scenario. On policy year 2, Marshall is diagnosed with a minor critical illness, which is early stage cancer. So we can claim 20% of the Health Pro Lite coverage, which is 100,000 pesos. And then on year number 3, Marshall is diagnosed with a major critical illness, which is cancer. This time, the benefit amount for major critical illness will only be 400,000 pesos. Okay? Now, since we have claimed 100% of the sum assured or up to 500,000, this rider will terminate. For Set for Life, the policy will still be in force, but the premiums will not be waived. On policy year 4, Marshall passed away. Supposing his premiums were paid, his beneficiaries will receive his Set for Life death benefit, which is equal to 500,000 or his account value, whichever is higher. So our total benefits paid in this scenario is once again 1 million pesos. Our next rider is Recovery Pro. In Recovery Pro, FWD will pay the benefit amount if the insured is hospitalized, as a result of a medical condition. Please take note, this is not for a hospital bill. No, this is to replace your loss of income while you are confined. Okay, so for the payment period, you have three options. That's 5 pay, 10 pay, or regular pay. Minimum sum assured, that's going to be 1,000 pesos per day worth of confinement or 10,000 pesos per day. For coverage, you can either get coverage up to 75 or coverage up to the age of 60. For coverage to age 75, the insured issue age should be between 15 days old to 70 years old upon application. And for coverage to age 60, the insured issue age should be between 15 days old to 55 years old upon application. For the hospitalization benefit, we will pay 100% of the benefit amount for each day of the insured's hospital confinement. We have a lifetime limit of 1,000 days. Now, if the confinement is in an ICU, we will pay an additional 100% for each day worth of confinement. We do have a limit of 365 days. Now, a couple of conditions we need to fulfill for Recovery Pro to be paid out. First, the 30-day waiting period. Next, it should be 3 consecutive days in a hospital confinement. Claim upon discharge or 31 days, whichever comes earlier. And the confinement should be in the Philippines. For surrender benefit, we have cash value, if any, at the time of surrender. Now let's take a look at a sample scenario. We got Barney, who's 40 years old. He purchased 7-pay set for life with a coverage of 300,000 for 40,000 in annual premium. He attached 5-pay Recovery Pro, where he gets coverage up to the age of 60 for 1,000 pesos per day. His premium is at 7,518 pesos. His total premiums for year 1 to 5 is 47,518. His total premiums for year 6 to 7 is at 40,000 pesos. Now, on the 5th policy year, sadly, Barney was confined in the ICU for 370 days. So, since it's ICU, we have an ICU benefit where you get an additional 100% of the coverage amount. So it gets 2,000 pesos per day. However, it's multiplied by 365. Why 365? For ICU, we do have a lifetime limit of 365 days. So he gets paid 730,000. Now, how about the remaining 5 days? His remaining 5 days would be the regular benefit, which is 1,000 pesos per day. Multiplied by 5, he gets 5,000 pesos. Okay, so his total benefits paid is 735,000. Now, since we have processed the claim for 370 days, our remaining lifetime limit is 630 days. Now, please take a look at this table to check which rider is compatible with which plan. Lastly, for attaching riders, you do get an additional commission as well, which is an additional 20% for both 5-pay and 10-pay variants. So there we have it. That's officially a wrap when it comes to our training on riders. Hope you enjoyed the training, and we look forward to seeing you in our next couple of modules.